the three main layers of the skin? Starting at the top.
Epidermis,
dermis,
and
dermis,
subcutaneous.
hypodermis or subcutaneous. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, and then the sublayers, there's in the epidermis, you know, there's 5, right? Girl Scouts give lots of cookies. Yes, 5. And then the dermis, there's 2. Okay, so what's this main layer from here to here? Yeah, that's epidermis. It's pretty thin. In this particular skin, this is the armpit or axilla skin. And then here's the start of the dermis right here. And dermis continues on. And then the hypodermis, we don't really have any of it on the slide. Okay, so what's this pocket called? The hair's been removed, but what is this?
Hair follicle.
That's a hair follicle, yeah, it's a hair follicle. And there's something that here that is
sebaceous
on your list. Yeah, good. That is a sebaceous gland. It's a little hard to tell with this magnification, but let's see at the next one. Okay, cool, yeah. So here's a sebaceous gland, and it secretes that sebum into that follicle, and that goes up onto the skin. It coats the hair and conditions your skin. So this is the axilla, so there is sebaceous glands there as well. Let's see, what else do we need to know? Okay, so some structures down here. This is a group of structures. There might be 2 different ones, or this is probably all one. It's hard to tell. But so we see sections of a structure. It's a tubular structure, and it has a duct that goes all the way to the surface. We just aren't seeing it. What could this possibly be down here?
Sweat gland?
Yeah, that's a sweat gland. And I'm not going to ask you to identify it as a merocrine or an apocrine gland on the slide because it is kind of hard to tell. I mean, if you knew this was the axilla, you might know more likely that that's an apocrine, but it's okay. It's just sweat gland. It's fine. It's deep and it's bigger. You could tell, but we'll just do sweat gland. So that is a sweat gland, and then there's actually another one over here. You can see that one's a little bit smaller. Let's see.
What's the big empty white space again?
So that's the lumen of the duct.
The lumen of the duct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and remember the sweat glands, they look like kind of, they go around almost like kind of snake-like at the base.
Right.
And then they have the one duct that goes to the surface. And so when you cut a section through it, you see the lumen of all these different parts of the duct as it winds its way around. And remember, glands are made of epithelial cells, so if you see, oh, those look like epithelial cells way down there in the dermis, then it's going to be a gland, right? And that's an example of an exocrine gland. Okay, now here's another one. This one, actually, difference pretty easy to tell, huh? Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. So this is clearly smaller. This is also a sweat gland, most likely the merocrine sweat gland. And that's remember the merocrine does the watery sweat. There's another one. Okay, and so this is also a good slide for differentiating the sublayers of the dermis. So you can see the difference from here, kind of see where it starts to change right in, about right there. And then from here down, it's pretty clearly the dense irregular connective tissue. So what's the name of this sublayer? The name of it, what's the name of this sublayer of the dermis?
Papillary.
Yeah, that's the papillary layer, or you could say papillary sublayer. And what's the name of this sublayer of the dermis?
Reticular.
Keeps going down, yeah, reticular. Okay, so the whole dermis includes all of that. And so what kind of tissue is the papillary comprised of? Do you remember that one?
Areolar.
Areolar tissue, good. And I just said it, but what kind of tissue is the reticular layer? Yeah, that dense irregular connective tissue. Good. There's the little hill in the dermis. What was the little hills in the dermis called? Yeah, papilla, dermal papilla. See they go up, dermal papilla. What else? Okay, up here we see this wispy sublayer. What's the name of that sublayer? Stratum something.
corneum.
Yeah, that's the stratum corneum. Good. It's the dead layer on the top that starts to slough off, comes off in sheets. So stratum corneum is the sublayer. It's part of the epidermis. Okay, I think we got everything on that one. Okay, let's show you slides.